On March 10th, 1582, John Dee sat for their first scrying session with Edward Kelly. Scrying, such as the hydromancy of Nostradamus, the French Catholic seer, and early contemporary to the lifetime of John Dee, was known in Dee's time to be an ancient art, presumably tracing back to an Egyptian magician named Nephates, cognate to the legendary Greek Narcissus. Dee and Kelly's method of scrying was crystal gazing, and focused on Dee's 6-centimeter diameter crystal ball. Beginning with this first sitting in 1582, Dee and Kelly established what has come to be known since as Enochian magic. It should be strongly noted by any modern practitioner of Enochian magic that there are, in fact, two distinct and separate forms of it developed by Dee and Kelly. The first is the so-called Binorum, or heptarchical system, and this form is what Dee and Kelly used to derive the second, properly Enochian, system of sigils, watchtowers, airs, evocations, etc. While modern practice preserves much of the latter, it seems to see no further use in study of the Binorum method for deriving the properly Enochian system. The method Dee and Kelly used to communicate with the angels, which Kelly had, at first, seen easily enough through Dee's showstone alone, ultimately involved 7 specific ritual implements. 1. The sacred showstone itself. 2. The table of practice, made of sweetwood or laurel, having 4 legs and a square top. 3. The 7 ensigns of creation, an encrypted form of Dee's Binorum. 4. The Sigillium Dei Meth, engraved on perfect wax, 9 inches in diameter and 1.5 inches thick, as well as on 4 smaller engraved wax seals to be placed beneath the feet of the table of practice. 5. 49 seals of the Binorum princes, placed beneath the feet of the operators. 6. An Enochian ring of Solomon, engraved with the name Pele, to be worn by Dee. And finally, 7. The second, or Holy Layman, an as of yet undeciphered array of Enochian letters. Dee and Kelly seem to have, wittingly or not, created the Binorum or heptarchical system as a form of double blind to reduce noise and filter out inaccuracies in the scrying process. In this phase of their workings, Kelly would scry and Dee transcribe only 1 letter at a time as they composed the Enochian evocations. The 7 ensigns of creation were placed on top of the table of practice, and the 49 seals of the Binorum princes were placed beneath the scryer's feet. Each letter location on the 7 ensigns related to one of the 49 seals of the Binorum princes, and each of these 49 seals related, in turn, to one of 49 more ministers, each with its own combination of 7 letters, all in such a manner that, by Kelly identifying 1 letter location on the 7 ensigns, Dee could cross-reference this to a specific letter among the names of the Binorum ministers, and thus each letter, one by one, was spelt out in the Enochian language through them. Following this method, Dee and Kelly composed 18 evocations and a single final evocation to the 30 Enochian heirs, and together compiled these as the 48 angelic keys. These, included along with an oration to God to be spoken 3 times a day, composed by Dee, a brief invocation to the Benorum princes, and an abbreviated tablature of which Benorum prince is to be venerated on what day of the week, etc., comprised the entirety of the ritual work intended for the properly Enochian section derived by Dee and Kelly, employing the Benorum as a double-blind method. Using the first 18 keys, with the substitution of each of 91 names called by Dee the parts of the earth imposed by God, and the key of the 30 heirs, Dee and Kelly drafted the 4 watchtowers of 156 square cells each, 12 vertical by 13 horizontal, and placed the parts of earth imposed by God, each a 7-letter name, as sigils connecting letters in each of these more than 624 total cells. According to this method, the 30 heirs, each containing 3 such 7-letter sigils, overlapped the 4 watchtowers, such that each sigil on the surface of each watchtower could occupy multiple levels on the spherical model of the 30 heirs. However, whether all of this was, as Dee claimed, divinely inspired, or whether Dee was simply insane, is a matter of ongoing historical dispute, and since with each passing second we get further away from his time period, we are perpetually receding from discovering the truth of this matter. If Dee's work was divinely inspired, one would expect it to have flawless internal consistency and perfect interior continuity. But as any student of Dee's system knows, it does not. The 91 parts of the earth contain some letters in names that fall in the black cross section between the 4 watchtowers, and thus are off the map of their 12 by 13 cells. One other 7-letter name, sigil, Lax Dizzy, appears on this map, but perhaps because it is a proximal duplicate for another name, Las Dixie, is excluded by Dee from all his lists of these 91, which are, in fact, thus actually 92. The lowest heir, Tex, has 4 parts of the earth associated with it, while the remaining 29 heirs have 3 each. Many anomalies such as these persist throughout the Enochian material generated by Dee and Kelly, and the real purpose and use for this entire system of magic remains undeciphered to this day. Ultimately, not only is Dee's derivation of the Enochian magic system an anomaly, but so is everything else about this system of magic as well, including, if any, its originally intended function.